Hello, everyone. We are back online, and I welcome you all. First of all, good morning, and however let's see, assume the time zones are across the globe, but I welcome you all to VanHackCON 2021. It's the sixth edition of the conference, and VanHack takes pride in hosting every year, and most importantly, to help you build your borderless career and to bring you the tools and skills you need. Because you know what? That dream job is closer than you think. So, are you ready to witness the largest online tech conference to help you get a job abroad? Type yes in the chat so we know that you're ready. Yes. Keep them coming. Yes, we're going to see that because it's going to be an exciting, thrilling ride today. Perfect. We are ready. Okay. So, as we all know, that 2021 has been a year that invited us and forced us to rethink, reinvent, and rebuild ourselves. The world has changed and things are more global than ever. And it wouldn't be different in your career, right? So, we are moving towards a borderless world and we need to be ready for it. Before we begin the first webinar and introduce you to the speakers, I would like to first tell few things and guidelines to mention before this event begins. It's going to be a 2-day event full of secret strategies and tactics for you to get that job abroad. From 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. PST, there will be a total of 6 webinars. So get that notepad because it's going to be a thrilling ride full of tips and tricks and tactics to get you the job. And as you all are here on AirMeet, you can navigate through the platform and you may see the question and answer session. Over there, you can write as many questions as you want to ask the speakers. And at the end of every speaker session, you will be given 10 minutes to ask those questions. And this chat is for general conversation during the entire event. Also, alerts will pop up in the chat for the upcoming jobs which you can apply to, and polls will be there. So, yes, so this is something that I wanted to mention before we begin our session. Also, I can guarantee one thing today. This would be a totally engaging and interactive webinar and session entirely on its own because that's what our plan is. So I'm hoping you have all grabbed the coffee or tea because we are about to begin and you're all about to get inspired. Perfect. Yes, I can see all the comments. Our first webinar is with the co-founder of the company that hired the most van hackers in 2021. It's Neo Financial, which is modernizing everyday banking and rewards in Canada. It's a fintech company based in Alberta, Calgary. Oh, and let me tell you something. They're looking for more than 100 software developers. Yes, 100. So, two esteemed speakers of this webinar will be joining us today. First of all, our VanHack CEO, Ilya Brodsky, who will lead this session with Chris Red, the co-founder of Neo Financial. Say hi, everybody, in the chat to them, to Ilya and to Chris Red, because we are excited to have them on board with us. The webinar will be about how the virtually exercising. You will get to know all about the Neo Financial from the co-founder himself. So please join me in welcoming these speakers. Let's have a huge round of applause to them, like virtually, as the world has gone remote, and because that's what. But let's your tables and let's give them a huge round of applause. And the floor is all yours now, Ilya. Welcome.
Amazing. Is it that? I think that was the best intro I've ever got in my life. That was incredible. Hi, everyone. Hi, Van Hackers. I'm loving the virtual applause here. Super excited to get into the talk. First up, let's make sure things are working. Everyone can hear us, can see us. Great. Yeah. Yep. Okay, great. Cool. Okay, let's jump into it. Hi, Chris. How's it going?
Hi, Ilya. I'm doing great. Thanks for inviting me to VanHackCON.
Yeah, our pleasure. Thanks for taking the time. Just one quick logistical thing, team. If you can make Chris and I like similar, I think he's like small, or maybe it's just my view. Is that just my view? Let me know. Because yeah, it should be. There you go. Better. Thank you. Perfect. Here we are. Okay, let's jump in. So Chris, tell us about Neo Financial. What is this company for anyone who might not have heard of it? Maybe a little bit of background, and then also yourself. What's your role in the company?
Sure. Well, I'll start with Neo. So, Neo Financial, or Neo as we call it, is a fairly new startup company here in Canada. We started only about two and a half years ago. So, not a company that's been around for decades. Our mission is to disrupt the banking space in Canada. And Canada in particular has really big, really old banks. It's a country where, people still have to go to the branch to do their banking. A lot of the time they have to fill in a form, with a piece of paper and a pen. And, I know, from traveling the world that that's not the case in a lot of places. There's amazing banks and amazing banking technology, especially from startup companies all around the world. So we're trying to bring some of that to Canada and be the first full service digital bank in Canada. And in the 2 years since we started the company, we've already been named a top 5 Canadian startup by LinkedIn. One of the fastest growing tech companies of all time in Canada. We have top VCs, people like Peter Thiel, who's the founder of PayPal, are backing Neo now. We have partnerships with companies like Amazon. We're doing a reInvent session at Amazon AWS reInvent this year, and I think there's a blog post coming out about Neo specifically and the cool things Neo is pioneering in the banking world. So we're doing a lot of amazing things. About 500 people at Neo today, hired in less than 2 years.
Wow, from 0 to 500 people, incredible. Also, I think people should know about the fundraise. I think that's important. Since it's a pretty significant amount of money. Could you just talk a little bit about that? You mentioned Peter Thiel. It's exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have actually a stable of pretty famous investors. I definitely blush when I meet or even hear about some of the people investing in Neo. We've raised over $100 million to date to fund the company in a Series A and Series B. And what that really means is we're here to stay, and we actually have the capital to hire all these people, including VanHackers, and to build one of the best teams in the country to actually solve this problem and go up against the biggest companies in Canada. Some of our other investors, Shopify founder, Shopify is the largest tech company ever in Canada. We have one of the dragons from the Dragon's Den show, as an investor, and they're on TV and stuff. So yeah, it's been a wild ride.
That's fantastic. And I'm seeing some people here in the chat asking for a VanHack shirt and VanHack Jobs. Well, we'll have to print some more shirts, but we definitely have jobs for everyone. So yeah, vanhack.com/jobs if you haven't been there already. Yeah, awesome, cool. So let's talk about the technology and kind of what you're working on, right? So what is the most important kind of product or project you're working on, and let's kind of get technical.
Yeah, sure. Although usually when people ask me, what's the biggest problem at Neo, I do say it's hiring the most talented people in the world. That always comes before the technology. But we are working on a lot of technology. It's a technology company, right? So I think our problem right now is that we've had a great, first year in the market. We've landed some major partnerships, including, we have a partnership with one of Canada's largest retailers, HBC, and that's created a lot of growth. We have customers. That's what every startup dreams of, right? Not just a few either, a lot of customers. And so a lot of the work we're doing right now is keeping up with what customers want, listening to the customers, and making it easier and easier and easier for the people who've adopted the platform already. And as you can imagine, as you get hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people signing up, you learn a lot of lessons, you get a lot of feedback. So that's a big thing for us. And then, of course, at the same time, we're building some new products. So at Neo today, we have a MasterCard credit card, and we have one of Canada's top savings accounts. But that's not enough to really be considered a bank that people can bank at every day. You know, we're going to need more. We're going to need all kinds of products like loans, mortgages, investments. So we're building out teams, new teams as fast as we can and saying, hey, you guys are all new, hire 10 new people, go build this new product. And trying to keep, you know, 2, 3, 5 new products on the go at the same time, and trying to build out a whole suite of amazing products, you know, all of which are better than the competitors is a pretty big ask. It's a pretty big job.
Very exciting. So, you know, people just joining right away are asked, you know, given the responsibility to build something that's going to be launching new. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Like we definitely invest in our current customers and products, but at the same time, there's a ton of net new stuff, probably more new stuff, greenfield projects, you know, being built out, and teams at Neo are really small. So even if you're new to the company, first of all, pretty much everybody's new to the company. You look on your right, that person's new. You look on your left, that person's new. And when you're on a small team, that means you have a big voice, right? If you're on a team in a giant room with hundreds of people, no one really can hear you. But at Neo, we'll put you on a team of maybe 6 or 7 developers, you know, and if you join us as a senior software developer on a team of 6 with some juniors, you kind of run the show. So you can get into that position very quickly.
Yeah, I'm just gonna guess here, but I think you're looking for leaders, people who can kind of, you know, join, hit the ground running, get promoted, lead a team, and you know, maybe be leading the mortgage product in a year or so.
Yeah, definitely. The goal is like get people ramped up quickly, because of course we, you know, with so much technology, a lot of it's also new tech stack, bleeding edge beta technology, new stuff from AWS. People have to learn, you know, in their first few months. So the goal is people, you know, should be fast learners and committed to ramping up quickly. And then once they, you know, become familiar with all the tech, yeah, you know, get them into a position where they can offer some leadership for sure.
Amazing. I just want to kind of quickly go back here because we didn't talk about you, Chris.
Oh, no.
What's your role? Tell us, you know, what you do.
No one likes talking about themselves. I think, you know, it's always a little embarrassing. But I'm, one of the founders of the company. And I spent about 25 years in the tech industry, including founding some other startup companies in Canada. You know, I'll say some were successful. I've had some successful startups, including an exit. Had some not be successful. And I learned a lot, maybe more from that, especially when I was a younger man. Now I'm getting gray in my beard, as I'm sure
you can see my.
But, you know, time teaches you to be a lot of lessons. You can be a lot better, right? So Neo is my biggest project to date. And I've also had the pleasure of working with a lot of other amazing companies around the world, especially in the fintech space. Worked a little bit with companies like Stripe. Also spent a long tenure with a company called ThoughtWorks. They're one of the best consulting companies in the world. Yeah, like a lot of famous, you know, people are there, authors.
Yeah.
You know, people like, you know, maybe Jez Humble, who invented continuous delivery, or Martin Fowler. I actually got to work with those guys like every day, which was pretty outstanding, and a great way to learn and grow as well. So that's kind of my background. And my partners my co-founders, they also created a company in Canada called Skip the Dishes. Skip the Dishes, #1 in the food delivery space across Canada. Really, I think, you know, beating much bigger companies like Uber Eats to kind of gain market share in Canada. And they're also like brilliant business people.
Awesome. I just got a product idea, so I took a screenshot here. Like everyone's sharing their LinkedIn profiles, and I was wondering if people can one day share their VanHack profiles and connect on VanHack. So just don't excuse me for that.
Good idea.
Yeah. In there. And then when a VanHacker gets hired, everyone who's connected will get an alert. So anyway, product is exciting. Martin Fowler, that's incredible. ThoughtWorks. And just for everyone to know, like Chris is a developer. Right? You're leading the technology
side. They don't let me code anymore, but yes. Yeah, like I'm someone who understands what it's like to have a career as a developer. And again, being older, I've maybe gotten more interested in entrepreneurship and and business, but I can still code today. In fact, I'm always happy to throw down and challenge somebody at a hackathon or something like that. Sure.
And anyone here want to jump in a hackathon with Chris? That could be fun. Maybe something we'll do next year. So Chris, let's talk about the actual jobs you're hiring for, right? So we talked a little bit about that. Like, there's a bunch of different roles. Can you just talk about like the full stack JavaScript, iOS, Android, other stuff? What are you thinking?
Absolutely. I mean, what we really do at Neo is give people a lot of flexibility to have the kind of job they want. So what I mean by that is, if you're someone who is more passionate about working on the front end, let's say you love building web interfaces using technologies like React, okay, hire you as a senior front end developer. And if you want to not work on the front end and you want to do back end work, okay, no problem, you can do back end work. You want to be full stack and do half back end and half front end work and do it all yourself, okay, we'll hire you as a full stack developer. You want to work on iOS app or Android app, we'll hire you to work on Swift or Kotlin. And even if you join and you spend a year in one role and you want to do another role, you can switch at any time. And we're always open to letting people pursue their passion when it comes to development. So there's no sort of fixed rule, like you have to be full stack or you have to be, back end or you have to be front end. It's just, what do you want to do?
Nice. That's awesome. And so I guess like we have some jobs on VanHack as well that people can apply for. Hopefully or if the team can post those in the chat or put that there for people to apply. One thing I just also want to highlight is I believe Neo's hired like 20 VanHackers or something like that. I don't know the exact number. Have you
20 in the last month? That's been going really fast.
Yeah. And how's it been working with some of the people who you've hired through VanHack? Just for people to know that like people like them, can be successful as well.
Really well. We have quite a few people who are, in Canada now and who I think are really happy. Something that is, I think, different and great about Neo right now is that we are still committed to really building a community, even though a lot of companies, I think right now are saying, yeah, we don't know how to do that. Everybody just work from home and get on, a Google Meet every day. That does work. You can get your work done, but are you going to make a lot of friends? And I think that's the difference with Neo. Like, people who come to Neo, they right away are hanging out. They're going for lunch together. They're maybe getting a beer, together. And we do a good amount of like, yeah, let's hang out together. We're also lucky that in Canada, pandemic is, not so bad. The, sort of rates of whatever hospitalizations and things super low. So it's really safe to be, getting together now, and we take advantage of that. And when you're coming to a new country, having the chance to interact with people, learn, about Canada, and if English is your second language, practice your English constantly, and make friends. I think those are just as important as the job, right? And Neo's great at that.
Fantastic. And what are you looking for in a candidate? Like when you're looking at the resume, of course you want to see people's technical skills, but is there anything else outside of that that you're looking for?
Yeah, I think I mentioned a few things already. Fast learners, people who like maybe learning new technologies. We often joke around at Neo that it's like, hey, nobody knows our tech stack. Not a lot of people maybe in the industry know our tech stack. And then it's like, yeah, that's the point. Because we want to only hire people who love learning new tech. That's like what gets them going. Like, oh, I'm so excited to try something I've never tried before. So that really helps at Neo, wanting to learn new technologies. I think some soft skills that are important are being a relationship builder. Again, being willing to talk with your coworkers, talk with people from other teams. That's very helpful because the company is growing and moving so quickly. The more people at the company, the better. And then maybe on the technical side, what I'll say is that, we don't look for people who've mastered our stack. I believe a smart developer can learn any programming language, can learn any library, especially a senior developer with lots of experience, they can pick up new tech. It's not really a blocker. So what we're really looking for on the tech side is maybe fundamentals, understanding how all programming languages work, understanding how the internet works, understanding how databases work, what good architecture, good software design, things like that. Those are universal concepts, right? So that's some of the stuff we care about.
Very cool. And how's the interview process? Like, what are the steps? Like, just for people to get an idea what they're getting, when they apply, what they can expect.
Yeah. So the first step is there is a coding challenge, and I know everyone's like groaning already, like, oh no, not one of those coding challenge people. But it's very low effort at Neo. Honestly, the reason we do the coding challenge is that, like, literally there are bots on the internet now that apply for jobs, and like you can't give a bot a job, but like exactly. So it's almost like solving a CAPTCHA. Like, it's a little harder than that, but not much. So we do a very quick assessment. Like, maybe someone might spend an hour on it, write some simple code, and just to prove that yes, you're a human who can code. And then we do a technical interview, and the technical interview is about an hour. That's with 2 senior developers on the team, and it's based on your resume. And we're not interviewing about our tech stack. We know maybe you know our tech stack, maybe you don't. We're looking at the tech stacks that you say you've mastered. If you're a senior developer, especially, we're expecting you're an expert in at least one tech stack, right? That's how you became a senior developer. So we'll try and make sure you are. And do you understand the fundamentals and the can we do a deep dive on the technologies that you've worked with for many years? And I think what we're trying to really assess in that technical interview is, I think there's a difference between using a technology and understanding the technology, right? So I can copy and paste some code that's using the technology, or I can look in the documentation and, okay, I just have to write this and I'm good. A lot of people can use technology. I can install a database, and use it. But do I understand it? Do I understand the pros and cons? Do I understand performance trade-offs? Do I understand best practices? Do I understand inner workings and things like that? So we dive into some of that in the technical assessment for seniors. It's just a question-based, interview. And then our final interview, the third step, is a culture and fit interview. And I'll tell you a secret about that interview. It's not an interview at all. If you make it to the culture and fit interview, you've passed already. Well, the reason we do that last interview, it's not for us, really. It's for you. It's an interview where we make sure you understand Neo, our company, our values, our team, to help you decide if you're genuinely going to be happy at Neo. And we just don't ever want to hire someone who's not going to like it, or will come to Neo and it won't meet their expectations, right? And we've been so busy in the technical interview asking you questions that you haven't been able to ask us many questions, right? So that last interview is there to share knowledge and prepare people and make sure that both Neo and you are 100% sure that you're going to be really happy with your choice to come to Neo. And especially for many of you who have to uproot maybe your families and move across the world or something, it's like a really big decision. So we do this whole final interview, happiness interview, to make sure that it's like a good idea for you.
Nice. I love it. So you get the full experience, and it is really both sides, right? You don't want to get a job, move across the world, and realize, hey, this isn't a good fit for me, because that's not a good position for anyone.
Every company has pros and cons. Like, don't go into any job thinking this job is utopia, it's perfect. Every job has pros and cons. Neo has some amazing pros, but not every single thing at any job in the world is the best. There's always some things that are not as good, and you maybe make a trade, right? So if you come to Neo, you're getting some amazing things. There's some rough things. It's really about understanding that. And then, okay, if that's the decision you want to make, come to Neo. The difference between working at Neo and working at Microsoft, again, both might be great places, but it's going to be different, right? So figuring out those differences is important.
For sure, yeah. I mean, for me, what I like about Neo is just it's a rocket ship. There's so much going on. It's growing fast. There's a lot of opportunity to grow, but that means you're going to have to be committed, right? And it's something you have to put in, the effort and the work. And yeah, I think it's a double-edged sword. But I personally prefer that than kind of sleepy, just nailing it in.
If you're exactly right. Like some companies, they release software once a year. In that case, you're not that stressed out most of the year because you're not really releasing your software. It's maybe go home at night and nobody's using it yet. You sleep really well. At Neo, we release software every day. And so developers are like, oh, holy crap, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people are clicking that button that I made today. If something breaks, that's worrisome, right? So depending on the type of technology being built and things like that, your job experience is different. Your day-to-day challenges are different.
Just one quick thing before we move on is if people can see the jobs are pinned in the chat, I believe maybe here or here. I don't know which way you guys see it. I think probably here. So you can apply directly on VanHack, and we'll go through your profile and move it to the right stage. And I believe the team at Neo has scheduled like over 100 interviews with VanHackers in the last 2 weeks. So there's a lot of VanHackers being interviewed, and hopefully soon many more getting hired. I think we had one hired yesterday or the day before, Javiera. So yeah, it's exciting times.
Neo has signed and closed a new software developer hire every single day in November. There hasn't been a single day, including weekends, that we haven't signed up a new software developer in Neo.
Wow, that's incredible. That's really cool. I guess I can say the same about VanHack, but that's like our core job is to do that.
Yeah, I mean, it's still pretty hard though, like to get people interested and excited and through the interviews and yeah.
Yeah, for sure. That's very true. Okay, cool. So, we do have about 5 more minutes for questions. For just our chat, and then everyone has, I'm sure, a lot of questions, and the chat's been really great to see. So we'll make sure to have people ask questions. But yeah, let's talk maybe about. Actually, I don't know. Can you comment a little bit about the visa process? Is that something and it's not really your focus, but like, do you mind?
I can talk about just how it's been going. I'll be honest, like. Last year, the pandemic, slowed down processing of visas, both in probably all your countries and in Canada, right? Like if offices are closed and I don't know, politicians are busy making decisions about the pandemic, maybe forms aren't being processed as quickly. But what we're seeing right now is it's back on track. So, maybe it was taking maybe 6-8 months to get someone to Canada during the height of the pandemic, but right now 3 to maybe 3 months, something like that, to go from okay, we're submitting the application to work visa, right? And so that's pretty quick actually. Neo has an amazing relationship with the governments in Canada, so it's not a question of if you're going to get a work permit. That some companies they'll tell you, oh yeah, we'll try and get you a work permit, and then you go through a bunch of hassle, and maybe you do, maybe you don't. But Neo, it's guaranteed. We already have approvals, we already have government sponsorships, we already have accelerated paths, and once we start helping somebody get that work permit, get their permanent residency, come to Canada, it's all but guaranteed, and it happens faster at Neo than probably most Canadian companies.
That's very true. I can kind of validate that as well, just because we know the team at Neo very well, and also VanHack's here to help if anything happens. But I do we know many VanHackers who've relocated and moved to both Calgary and Winnipeg, and maybe that could be a nice place to kind of wrap up in the last few minutes here. Is tell us about Calgary and Winnipeg. What's life like in those two cities, and what can people expect once they arrive there?
Yeah, absolutely. I've actually lived in both cities. So I grew up in Winnipeg, and then I moved to Calgary, and I live in Calgary today. So I can speak to both. When I think about Calgary, it's a city of about 1.5 million people, but it kind of hits above its weight class. So it feels like you're in a even bigger city. I think that's one of the great things about Calgary. It's very, very modern. Everything is shiny steel and glass. Everything is clean. Everything is tech. And, you feel like you're in a really big city, every single day. You have access to all the things you would expect in a bigger city. That's Calgary in a nutshell. People in Calgary are often young or career motivated people. They talk about their careers, their plans, that people are kind of into that kind of stuff, right? Young professionals is sort of the demographic in Calgary. Winnipeg, also an amazing city. I would say it's a smaller city. It's a third the size of Calgary, but a lot of pros. Give you an example. Buying a house costs probably a quarter as much money in Winnipeg. So let's say you're someone with a family and you have a couple of kids and you want to get a dog, have a big grassy yard. In Calgary, that's pretty tough to afford. House prices are high, and people will save for many, many, many years, or maybe just be able to rent. But in Winnipeg, like on the salary of a senior software developer, you're going to own your home cash in like not too long, and have 3, 4, 5 bedroom house, with a giant yard and stuff like that very quickly, right? So that creates a different experience for your family. I'd also say, there's difference in governments. So Alberta, I would say, people vote with their wallets. That's maybe what you would say. People, again, are looking for the lowest taxes and things like that. But in Winnipeg, the political environment is maybe more, okay, we'll pay a little more taxes, but let's make sure we have really great school system for our kids. And like a high school in Winnipeg maybe has 200-300 students. A high school in Calgary, 1,500, 2,000 students. And what does that mean? Again, it's a different environment for your children to grow up in when they're at school, right? So there's pros and cons. Calgary still has great schools, but more of a community feeling maybe in Winnipeg. And I think the culture in Winnipeg is one of community, family, neighborliness. Whereas maybe the culture in Calgary is more go, make money, get promoted, that kind of stuff.
Nice. And just for Neil, like, do you choose which city you go to? Like, let's say I get an offer from Neil, is that up to me?
Absolutely. Like, we're happy to offer people a choice right now. I can't guarantee we'll always offer that, but right now, someone really wants to live in Calgary, sure. And if you really want to live in Winnipeg, sure. And we actually make the same offer. We pay the same amount of money, which actually does mean like you kind of come out ahead financially in Winnipeg. Again, because the cost of living is lower, especially rent and housing. But still we make great offers and give people that choice. Got
it. Awesome. I mean, I've been to both cities. I just kind of from my point of view, I think they're both great. You can't go wrong with either. I do like the fact that you can get your house for a lot cheaper in Winnipeg. That is pretty exciting. And you really build a great financial a foundation for your family. And yeah, especially if your spouse is working too, because your spouse will get an open work permit. You potentially could be making close to $200K depending on the family's situation and the salaries as a family, and that's like you're living like a king. You get like a big pool, you'll have like a tennis court or something. It's like a lot of money in Winnipeg. Compared to Calgary where it's like an expensive big city. Well, it's not that expensive compared to other cities in Canada too. I think that's important to say, right? Because like you have Toronto and Vancouver and other parts of Canada too, like Victoria and stuff that are also very expensive or much more expensive. Calgary's Calgary's middle of the market, and Winnipeg is just like a bargain. And
Yeah, for anyone out there researching Canada or researching coming to Canada, definitely understand that it's a giant country, 6 time zones. Toronto versus Calgary might as well be different countries. Nothing the same about them. Vancouver versus Winnipeg, nothing the same about them. Everything is different. Cost of living is hundreds of percentage difference. Taxes very different. Culture very different. Everything is extremely different from one side of Canada to the other side.
Yeah, exactly. It's basically like Europe, the continent of Europe in a country. So,
exactly. Like, the difference between, maybe living in France and living in Italy, it's like pretty big difference, right? That's the difference of living in Calgary or living in like Montreal. It's like 100% different life, different culture, different people, different monetary situations, economies, everything is different.
Yeah. Well, thankfully, there's a lot of really cool content for everyone to research, not just through VanHack, but all over the internet. Although our YouTube channel is pretty good and we got a lot of good content too. Just thinking about how my parents moved to Canada in 1993, there was no YouTube, there's no internet, there's nothing, right? So everyone who's moving now is just so much more empowered. So do your homework, do your research, and hey, if you don't like it, you could always, change things up in a few years in terms of the city you're in. Okay, cool. So I did have another question, but I'm forgetting now. So let's go to the questions from everyone here, from VanHackers. I can't. If people can just ask those questions, we have another 13 minutes here before we're gonna like Chris, go ship some awesome software and make another offer for a candidate today.
By the way, I don't know if every founder would do this, and I might be crazy saying it, but if we don't get to your question today, you can hit me on LinkedIn. Send me a LinkedIn message. I'll answer your question on LinkedIn. Even if I get 100, 200 questions, cool. That's fine with me. So we'll answer as many as we can, but you can find me on LinkedIn. Send me a connect and a question, and I'll answer.
Damn, Chris, your LinkedIn inbox is going to explode right now. We got almost 600 people here.
Here's a secret for you. It does that every single day, Ilya. Like, it doesn't matter. So
yeah, I hear you.
Yeah. But we'll get to your questions if we can.
Yeah, and by the way, if anyone has added me on LinkedIn, I haven't accepted, is because I've hit the limit. So that's just not because I don't want to connect with you. Okay, cool. So how many developers are at Neo today?
About 100 software developers. If you count all of the product and dev roles, maybe 150, 160 people.
Nice. And you have just my question here, not from Ricardo, but I thank you, Ricardo, for asking that question. What's your goal for kind of next year? Do you have a number, or is it just like as many as possible?
We're trying to hire 60 to 90 software developers in our Winnipeg office, and probably a little more in our Calgary office. So we'll try and maybe triple the team size overall.
Nice. Triple. Wow. Okay. Do you require a college degree?
No. Although I'm not actually sure how that may impact immigration.
It doesn't impact.
Okay, in that case, no, don't care.
Nice. We're getting questions about Salesforce, UX, and .NET.
I mean, we do have UX and UI design roles. They're on our website as well. Rarely we have Salesforce openings, but I'll be honest, we have, I think, 1 or 2 people at Neo who maintain our Salesforce, presence today. We don't use Salesforce much at Neo. There's like 5 people using Salesforce maybe. So that's not a huge role. What was the third thing?
.NET.
We don't use .NET at Neo or Azure Cloud. So if you're an expert in that, my challenge to you would be, why not learn some new technology? We do actually use some Microsoft tech. So we use TypeScript, Visual Studio Code. If you've ever written TypeScript in Visual Studio Code, it's almost exactly the same as writing C#. Increasingly, that language is just adopting the syntax and paradigms of C#. So I would say maybe consider pivot to writing some TypeScript.
Yeah, Node, TypeScript, React, it just generally, if market specific advice here, everyone is like the FullStack JavaScript or JavaScript is just basically taking over. So if you want to be ready for the future.
Yeah, but I'm not saying that other languages are not good. We do use Python on our data engineering team and data science team. And again, not as many roles, So again, we're hiring hundreds of full stack and mobile devs. Maybe we're hiring 2 people on our data team, right? But we do use Python for data science and data engineering at Neo.
Nice. And then Ashwin's asking about AWS. Yes, you are an AWS shop, right?
Yeah, so much so. Like we use everything on AWS. We're a preferred partner of AWS. Again, like they're literally blogging about us with early access to technologies you guys haven't even heard about yet.
That's cool. Yeah, make sure, guys, to book your calls with Guilherme and Manuel, who will do a screening call with you, and just make sure you're the right fit for Neo. Because we're making sure we're sending Neo the candidates who are a good fit. So yeah, but if you're not specific for Neo, we have many other jobs as well. But yeah, but make sure you book those screening calls so your profile can be approved. Okay. I mean, people are just asking a bunch of questions about Stack, and I think I'm just gonna say, guys, like if you have any questions about Stack, like just go to the Neo Jobs page.
Yeah,
there's probably a lot of information there.
Exactly. Like I can't answer every single tech. Oh, do you use Ruby? Oh, do you use Flutter?
Yeah.
Oh, do you use, Xamarin? Like there's millions of them, right? So
yeah.
Overall, we do mostly TypeScript, Node, React, Swift, Kotlin for Android, AWS for most of our infrastructure. If none of that stuff sounds appealing to you and you don't even want to learn something new, again, we don't interview you on those. Happy to hire someone with a background in Java or C# if they want to work in this stack. I mean, that's the bulk of our stack.
Sweet. Okay, so we have a question that's a little bit different, which is, I got rejected from Neo. I applied, I didn't get accepted. Is there a period that I should wait to try again?
It's a good question. We do like when people try again. I would generally say wait a couple months, 2 or 3 months. And I would very much think about maybe, what's changed, what's changed for you. And there's really a couple of reasons somebody might have been rejected, and it's nothing personal. I mean, one is we might be bad interviewers. We're not perfect. We're human beings. We have to interview sometimes 100 people, and it's really hard to be perfect. We might have made a mistake. I would say if you have a lot of stuff on your resume, you may want to consider only putting stuff on there that you really, really, really know. If you just kind of know something and you put it on your resume, you might think that's better. But then we're going to ask you about it, and you might not really know it that well. So actually trimming it back to the things you've mastered and you're an expert in will mean that during the interviews, we'll talk about those things more, and you'll shine more. And then the last thing is, again, in that, if you've been in our culture and fit interview, that final interview, if we didn't hire you, it's probably because we're pretty sure you're not going to like it at Neo. And that might be something to really consider. If you've been through the culture and fit interview and we didn't hire you, it might be honestly for the best, because Neo is not the right company for every single person in the world. You might actually not like it, and I don't want to make you miserable by bringing you to a company like Neo.
Nice. That's a good answer there, and a lot of good points. I'm seeing some thumbs up. I'm loving these virtual emojis, by the way, team. If you guys are having fun, maybe just give us a little high five or smile or whatever. Claps. It's good for the ego on a Friday morning. Okay, cool. We have 5-10 more minutes, so let's keep the show on the road.
Yeah.
Remote. So I got a few questions here about remote. What's your stance on having people fully remote?
We don't have anyone fully remote across the whole company. I mentioned this before. We really want to build a community and sort of family atmosphere at the company. We have a lot of people coming to Canada. I think if you want to be remote, you're not coming to Canada, you can be remote. And if you're moving across the world, again, you're probably looking for friends and a community. So we build that, and try and give it to people. I personally, Neo for me, I can't just work at Neo for a year and quit. I'm a founder. I'm stuck with it. Whatever we build, I'm stuck with it. And I guess I'll just tell you maybe a personal anecdote, just speaking on behalf of myself, not on behalf of Neo. But I've worked in tech for 25 years. I've worked fully remotely 5 or 6 years of my career. I've also worked in many offices, from 5 or 6 developers to hundreds of developers, small companies, big companies, my companies, other people's companies. When I look back over 25 years of memories, I don't remember anything good about the remote roles. Basically, every day I would just get up out of bed, go to my computer, do my work. End of the day, I'm done. I didn't really build a lot of great memories. I don't really stay in touch with those people. And I never got to know them to the extent that I would have liked. I don't know their spouses' names, their kids' names. I don't know that the kids play soccer. My kids never played with their kids. We never, you know what I mean? Like, we never actually got that close at the companies where I worked remotely. Now, I did a great job. I'm proud of my work, but I didn't really make lifelong friends. On the other hand, when I joined rocket ship startups and we went through some crazy times and we hung out and we spent time together, I got to know people really closely. I got to meet their spouses, the kids, and find out about their hobbies and mutual interests. And then maybe we would go and find that we had some common interest. Oh, you're also interested in hockey. Oh, you're also interested in, playing Frisbee. Let's start a team, right? And that, if I look back over my life, that's what made my life fun and great, and what made me happy was the relationships and people I got to know the closest. And we want that to be part of the experience we're building for Canadians, and people coming to Canada at Neo. Again, maybe not for everyone. Maybe some people disagree, or that's not the life they're after, but it's the life that we're trying to build for each and every person at Neo, a life full of memories, challenges, good times, friends, stuff like that. So we're big on getting people together and being in an office. We don't hire fully remote people. If you join Neo, we'll give you a month of remote sort of work to help you start ramping up, learning, while you're maybe immigrating. But we don't start people remote, and say you can work remotely indefinitely.
Mm-hmm. No, that's cool. And I like that month to kind of get people updated. I'm sure if they want to go to the office during that month, they can.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, for sure, to meet people and stuff. But yeah, that's really nice. And how Helmer's asking here, is it 100% in the office? Is there a mix? Can I do like hybrid, a little bit in the office, a little bit remote during the week? What's the stance there?
Yeah, I mean, there's some amount of flexibility, but it's mostly in the office. So there's no hard policies. In fact, at Neo, our culture is sort of explicitly not policy driven. We actually want people to think about, what's actually best and what are the company's values and principles, and align their behavior to values and principles, rather than us making rules and policies that people have to follow, like robots. And so when it comes to being in the office, if you once in a while you want to work from home for a day, that's okay with me. If you just need a day with no distractions, you're going to crush out code all day, you have really hard deadline to hit, you really don't want anyone talking to you, and you're like, I'm going to do that at home today. That's what makes sense for my team. Sure. On the other hand, if you have meetings that day, if you're talking with our product, with our designers, you're collaborating with your team, that'd be a day I'd expect you to be in the office. Wouldn't want someone to make a bad decision there where they're like, yeah, I don't want to be in the office on the day when I have to talk to 10 people. To me, that's the day you do want to be in the office. So there's a lot of discretion there. I'd say if you want an actual estimate on in office versus not in office, people maybe work from home maybe 3 or 4 days a month, something like that. And then most of the rest of the time we're in our office space.
Awesome. And just a quick thing about that before we wrap up is, like, the offices are super nice, I'm guessing. And two, how do you say, it's like short commute, right? Like in Winnipeg and Calgary, the commute and the traffic is basically non-existent.
Yeah, Winnipeg is crazy. You can get anywhere in 10 minutes in Winnipeg. It's not that big of a city, and yeah, like, good infrastructure. Commute's very short. In Calgary, commute's also pretty short. It's a bigger city, depends when you live, but you can also live within one block of the office and have a great place. Like that's it's perfectly possible in Calgary. Lots of people that do just walk to work every day or ride a bicycle, that kind of stuff.
Cool, awesome. And then one kind of maybe thing we can finish off here is someone asked about COVID, and I think that's important to mention with everything going on right now in offices and lockdowns and all that.
Yeah.
What's the position there with Neo? How are you making sure people are safe when they're going to the office?
Yeah, I mean, we're in a tough spot, and it's not entirely Neo's decision. So we have to actually work with, for example, our landlords. They're starting to impose rules on us, what we need to do, what policies we need to have, even if we don't. We do want to take care of people, but it's honestly more the decision of the government of Calgary, the government of Winnipeg, Alberta, Canada, and things like landlords, building owners, and people like that. But at Neo today, we have a mandatory vaccination policy. That does mean that everybody who wants to join the company would need to be double vaccinated, have sort of 2 vaccination shots. That could be done in Canada if you're immigrating and don't have access to the vaccine now, or it could be, if you've already been vaccinated, that's okay. But we can't hire anyone who isn't vaccinated, for example. And not entirely our choice. I would highly recommend not even relocating to Canada without being vaccinated at this point, because there's government mandates for things like visiting a restaurant, going to the pub, going to the coffee shop, getting on a plane or a train or a bus, where you actually need to show proof of vaccination. So life kind of not good if you're not vaccinated here. And like in Calgary, it's like 95% of people are vaccinated. I think in the northeast quadrant of Calgary, 99% of people are vaccinated. So stats are really high. So that's part of, I think, the decision to join Neo. We also do a lot of other COVID safety related measures, distancing, setting up our office very specifically to be as safe as possible. Masks in public and group settings, endless amounts of hand sanitizer. We have a coffee machine, and then right next to it, an equally sized pot of hand sanitizer.
Nice combo there, keeping people safe. Awesome. Am I still there? I got a little notification that my connection's not good.
I'm still here.
Okay, all right. I think it's good. Cool. Well, I think with that, we'll wrap things up. Chris, thank you so much for taking the time here to share, all about Neo Financial, your experience, what it's like to work in Canada. Seeing a lot of thumbs up here and claps for that, and some nice thank you messages in the chat. So thanks everyone for the warm wishes. And yeah, this is just the first of 13 other sessions that we're going to have during VanHackCON. This is the largest, as you can read here, the largest online conference for tech talent that wants to get hired abroad. So we got a lot more content coming for you. You can see the whole agenda on the VanHackCON page. And make sure you're in that VanHackCON Slack group as well to get all the updates and things like that. And last thing I'll say is, if you enjoyed this session, tell your friends, tell all the best developers you know. There's so many jobs for everyone, and we want to bring all this great talent to Europe, to Canada, get you remote jobs and get everyone hired. So yeah, thanks so much for being part of it. Chris, one more time, have a great Friday, have a great weekend, and yeah, thanks so much.
Absolutely. And again, I'm sorry we couldn't get to everyone's questions. I actually love telling people about Neo. I think the more I tell you, the more you're going to like it. So if there's any way I can, either provide answers through LinkedIn, or, I'm not sure if this is possible, but if VanHack has, a longer list of questions, I'm happy to even, write up a bunch of answers and share it with you guys somehow, so that you get all the answers you want about Neo upfront.
Awesome. Fantastic. Well, I'm sure you're going to get a ton of LinkedIn connections right now. People can just search your name on LinkedIn, right? Chris with a K.
Yeah, I'm not hard to find. Chris with a K and Neo. Yeah, I mean, you'll find me.
Awesome. Great. Well, thanks you so much. And yeah, we'll talk soon, Chris. Good to see you again.
Thank you. Nice seeing you, Ilya. Good luck at VanHackCon, everyone.
All right. I think we're done. So I'm not